We are getting streamed live on YouTube as well. So, yes, a very good evening and warm welcome. This is Vishali Sheth. I am the co-founder and product head of Orange Slates. And we have been doing teacher training since past 1.5 years, where we focused a lot on topics, strategies, and tools that will help teachers change the way the classroom works, the relationship between your child, the way the concept is explained, and the way the students perceive. The entire teaching learning process, the journey, is what we want to upgrade. That is what our aim is. With the same in mind, we have trained teachers not only from our pan India, but also from Middle East, some parts of Europe, some parts of US as well. So our focus is simple: apply what you learn. And if you apply what you learn, you will get the nuances, and in detail, you will be able to understand why we learn this. Right. So, be it any topic, similar like the topic that we have is communication. Communication is something that we do every day. How can we make it better, and how can we make it relatable, applicable for educators in some areas? See, communication is a very vast topic. You communicate with students, you communicate with parents, you communicate with the different stakeholders, you communicate with your family, your friends, your neighbors, a lot of people. But the way we communicate is different. What we communicate is different. And this is exactly what we are going to learn is communication for educators. This will be series of sessions. This is just a start that we're going to have today. And we have with us our mentor, Miss Nancy Shah. Nancy is from Bhavnagar, Gujarat. She lived in Ahmedabad for 7 years and recently shifted to Mumbai. As a part of her education, she has done her MBA. She has worked in 6 years with different organizations as a trainer, and since last 3 years, she is working as a freelancer. With total 9 years of work experience, she has done mainly into training students and teachers with different sets of skills required for communication. She works as an anchor for different corporate social events, and she has hosted events for more than 5,000 with more than 5,000 audience, and she has been the anchor for that. And she's also a founder of Speakers Circle, a platform through which she helps people improve their public speaking skills. She's truly an explorer by heart who likes to sing also, and because of her love for the stage, she has attached herself with hashtag Nancy on stage. So, Nancy on stage, without further delay, over to you.
Thank you so much, Vrishali, for an amazing introduction. I'm overwhelmed with the response. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all? Good evening, everyone. Let's do one thing. If you are watching us live on YouTube, you can type in a comment. And if you are in the Zoom, you can type in a chat box. Just type your name over there so that we can welcome you suitably. Roshali, can you share the link of the YouTube so that I can parallelly check that as well? So to engage, you can just WhatsApp me the current YouTube link. Okay, fine. So I'll be checking YouTube along with the Zoom thing as well, so that I can involve and engage people over there as well. So if you are watching us on YouTube right now, I'm checking the chat box as well. And if you are in a Zoom, I am also checking things over here. So both ways, just a second.
Yes, we are going to communicate from all possible directions with you on YouTube and on Zoom. So, I would really request you to engage, ask questions, participate, because unless you communicate, then there's no point in having a communication session. So, yes, Nancy, over to you.
Thank you so much. So yes, yes, yes. If you are here, if you are watching us right now, type your name in the chat. And I would like to welcome you suitably. Or type your name in the comment section of YouTube and I would like to welcome you suitably. If you're listening to me right now, type your name out there in the chat or in the comment section. Who all are there? I'm just waiting for your messages.
Come on, teachers, who are here?
Oh,
Quickly
come
type
on.
in your name. Come on.
It's just my way to introduce you. See, because she has introduced me well, but I would like to welcome you for the session. So we have Gunjan Pandya. Hi, Gunjan. Thank you so much for joining in. Who else is there? Okay, I can see a lot of people. Okay, we have Sangeeta Sharma. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am, for joining in. We have Minakshi, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in, Minakshi. On YouTube, who else is there? These guys are there in the Zoom. Who is watching us on YouTube? We have, I think on YouTube, I can see that there are 7 people watching us right now. But then I'm not able to get any comments. That would not work. You need to type. And see, this is not okay. When we talk about communication, it has to be two ways. Okay. I cannot only speak and if I just speak and if you listen, it's not a communication, it's preaching. And I'm not here to preach you. Okay. I'm here to communicate with you. And for that, I need your response as well. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Sangeeta, for the greetings. So let's ensure that we interact throughout the session so that we can make the best out of it. Okay, when I am conducting this session, I would just want to clarify one thing, that we all are learner, and when I say we, I am also one of them. Okay, so I'm not somebody who is the best or the most expert in the field or something like that. I think I'll just share what I have learned over the period of time, and that might help you. There's a scope of improvement for everyone, including me as well. Okay, but it's just that I've experienced few things, and based on that, I would like to share a few things with you. Give me a thumbs up if you are here, or if you're done, or if you can relate with this. I will not be taking your introduction because otherwise we'll spend another 20 minutes, and of course, I'll not be able to remember much. So we'll not waste the time. But then I really appreciate and thank all of you for joining in over here on time. So let's begin with an amazing session. Communication strategies for educators. Now, why such session in the first place? Or why are we having something like this? Just because I liked it, or just because Orange Slates wanted it, or just because, you know, what is the need? Why such things are required? Why such sessions are required? And why are you all here? So let me just share my screen. First of all, thank you so much for Orange Slates for inviting me here. I am happy and I feel grateful for being here. Thank you so much. Very first question: why communication is important for educators? You can type in a chat and reply. Why do you think communication is important for educators? Or why do you need it at all? You can just share your thoughts, whatever comes to your mind. I'm looking at the chat box parallelly. I'm looking at the YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching us on YouTube, or you are here in the chat, sorry, on a Zoom, you can still type in and share your
Yeah,
thoughts.
you can share in the chat or you can raise your hand. So, right? In Zoom, you have an option of raising hand. So, you can raise your hand and we will give you a chance to unmute and answer.
Yeah.
Quickly, come on, teachers.
Let's begin. See, if we are teachers, as teachers, if we are not excited about something, how others would get into it? So that's the first thing. In fact, that is one of the points that I want to discuss during the session as well. But I need your responses. See, if it's just one way communication, then as I said, it's not a communication, it's preaching, you know. ये कोई बाबा रामदेव की कथा नहीं है कि जिसमें हम आए सुने, हाँ हाँ अच्छा था जो भी था एंड चले गए. We don't want to make it like that, right? We want to make it interactive, we want to make it helpful, we want to make it something that might create something good for you, right? That's the purpose, that's why you're here. I don't think anybody has free time to get on a Zoom call at 5 p.m. without any purpose or reason. Nobody is that free to get into something like this. Okay, if you're here, then you are here with a purpose. So can I grab your attention, or can I have your undivided attention for next few minutes? Exactly, not few minutes, 1.5 hours. I need your undivided attention for next 1.5 hours, and I guarantee you that you'll not go empty-handed. You'll get something out of this session. But
Yes,
for
so
that,
Priyanka ma'am, sorry, I'm so sorry. Priyanka ma'am responded. It's a
yeah, yeah,
media to
yeah,
share your thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm looking at it. So it's a media to share your thoughts. Of course, communication is important to share your thoughts. What else? Why communication is important for educators? What else? Why it is required? Well, guys, I think as educators, we need to communicate every single day. with our participants, our students, our stakeholders, our co-fellow faculty members, our school coordination and administration team, and lot of other places. You need to respond to parents, you need to respond to students, you need to respond to administration, you need to respond to every person who is involved in this entire process of education. And communication is a core of everything that you do. In fact, your teaching is one way of communicating with your participants, right? Whatever you're sharing is also one way of communicating with your participants. Okay, we have got another response. uh, okay, Avi says that to create impact on students, to influence them so that they can follow the path. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it. Okay, Gunjan says our profession depends on it. Yes, correctly. As I said, our profession. So when I say our profession, I am also a trainer, sort of an educator. So when you are in the field of education, communication is core of what we do, right? So yes, a profession depends on it. That's true. What else? Any other comments? Any other thoughts around it? You can type in a chat. I'm also checking a YouTube parallelly. We have not got any comments there. It won't work, guys. If you're watching us right now, I can see 8 people watching us right now. Type in a chat and share your thoughts. I am checking the YouTube chat box parallelly. I'm here for you. But then, are you here for yourself? That's a very simple question that I have for you. So let's get on it. So, yes, a story short, communication is core of everything that we do as an educator. While we interact with students, their parents, the stakeholders, the administration, or even sometimes with other faculties in your school or college or whatever place you're working with. The next question: what are the elements of effective communication as per your understanding? You can just share your thoughts and type the pointers in the chat. What do you think makes a communication effective? Any thoughts would be fine. See, don't hesitate, okay? I am not here to judge anybody, first. Second, I really don't know when we would meet next, okay? There's no plan charted out. Of course, we look forward to conduct such more sessions at Orange Slates, but then I really don't know how and when it would happen. So it's a very short time we are together, and I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to compare or do anything. We are here to learn and explore something new. So feel free to share whatever comes to your mind. I'm open for anything and everything. So let's quickly share in a chat what are the elements of effective communication. Okay, Abhi, he says sender receiver feedback channel. Okay, yes, that's the basic. That's a process of communication. Fine. Clarity. Yes, that's amazing. Thanks, Priyanka, for sharing. Yes, clarity is important when you're communicating. Let's say I said something, you understood something, you interpreted third thing, and your next communication happens with a fourth message. That doesn't work, right? It has to be clear. You should be able to understand what I'm trying to say, and it has to be crystal clear for everyone. Fine. Okay, Rushal is saying active listening. Yes, that's very important. When we listen, then only we can respond properly, right? So active listening is important. 7 C's of communication, this all bookish things, right? We have all learned it. 7 C's of communication, and the entire process of communication. I think Abhi has researched a lot regarding communication. He's talking the theoretical things, right? Kudos to you and thumbs up to you. I think you're coming. I understand where this is coming from. So 7 C's of communication, or the process of communication, where sender sends the message and there is a medium through which it transfers, and then you have the receiver who understands and interprets that. Yeah. So great. Okay. Any other thoughts? What are the important elements of communication according to you? I'm waiting for your messages. Let me go back and check the YouTube one more time and see if we have. Okay, we have got a message. Oh, wow. So, Rambai Yadav is responding. Great. That is understandable. She says that the communication has to be understandable. That's amazing. and language should be known to listener. That's really important. Like, if, let's say for example, if I talk in a language which you can't understand, there's no point. Even when you know the language, so let's say for example English. Now English also has understandable English and great English, which has amazing words which nobody understands. So I still remember I attended one of the sessions of one of the experts when I was in my college. So I was typically a student, and of course I had command over language, but it was not that great. So I attended the sessions with five of my friends, and we six people, like we went together. It was 1.5 hour session. The speaker talked about something related to the strategies and management and how one can build right platforms, or it was about entrepreneurship actually. So we sat for 1.5 hour because we paid for it. That person was Indian, of course, but then the accent that the person was using and the language, uh, it was English only, but the words were quite new for us. So it was probably, when you use some extraordinarily vocabulary, when you use extraordinary vocab, sometimes people are not able to understand what you are trying to communicate. So what happened? Like, we attended that 1 hour session, 1.5 hour session, and when we came out of that room, and we were six friends discussing like how was it and blah blah blah, we all had a same feeling. जो भी था अच्छा था, हालांकि कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, but अच्छा था. Now, does this make any sense? Huh? Do you want to create that feeling for your audience, that वो बाहर आके बोले कि हाँ, it was nice, it was good, however I could not understand much. Hmm? That doesn't make any sense. As a communicator, my role is not to, showcase my vocabulary skills or my language skills. I might be great at language, I might be having extraordinary vocabulary, but my purpose here is to communicate and share what is required. And if the audience is not able to receive that in a right manner, there's no point. You're wasting your time and time of others as well, right? So you need to understand whom you are talking in front of, right? And based on that, choose your language, choose your words, keep it as simple as possible, as simple as possible. So I can really relate with what Ramba Yadav said, that language should be known to the listener. The words should be easier for people to understand. Okay. So Abhi saying, is voice audible? Not to me. So Brushali, can you confirm? Am I audible?
या यू आर ऑडिबल आई थिंक बीच में थोड़ा आवाज कम हो गया था तो इसलिए नहीं है बट अदरवाइज यू आर ऑडिबल
Okay, fine. I'm wearing a headphone, so I must get a better voice. Still, if you face any challenge, let me know. So Abhi, I hope it's fine for me now. Okay, so let's take it forward. Okay, so yes, like language, there are many other elements which are related to communication. I'll join again. Okay, you can join again, Abhi, because I think everybody is able to listen to me. So yes, let's move ahead. I am going to share few things which I have observed over the period of time, which makes communication effective, especially for educators, because the role of educator is quite different than any normal communicator. So let's say you are having your business and you're talking to your clients and customer, requirement for communication for you is little different. When you are, let's say, working in any organization and you are into sales or marketing, the communication that you need would be different. At the same time, when you are an educator, you are into the teaching profession, when you are shaping minds and you're building lives, communication that we need as an educator is also quite different. So I'm going to share few things with you which might help you in communicating effectively with your stakeholders. The first and the most important thing, Listen to understand and not to respond. It's easier to say than done. I had this habit. Whenever somebody used to talk to me, I'm talking about past. So whenever somebody used to talk to me, and if let's say somebody's coming to me and trying to talk something, I'll quickly start interpreting. Acha, why this person is saying that? What is the expectation? How should I respond? How should I deal with it? And I would be giving so many suggestions and replies instantly, rather than even understanding much about the concern. Over the period of time, I've learned that listening patiently is quite more important than talking. So if you just keep mum and pay attention and listen to others, more than 50% of your problem will be solved. Because when you listen, you can understand. So listen to understand and not to respond. My earlier stage was I want to respond. Okay, why? If you have said something, I'll quickly reply, I'll quickly respond. I can't hold my thought back, I can't hold my talk, I would always love to respond quickly. But then over the period of time, I've learned that rather than replying quickly, rather than responding quickly, let's take a pause and just understand what the other person is trying to say. Sometimes people are not actually looking forward for our response. Sometimes they are not even seeking a suggestion, they are just sharing, you know and if you can just understand and just connect with them, you're done. So what they are expecting from you, that you need to understand. Whenever you talk to anybody, let's say you're talking with parents, you're talking with students, you're talking with school administration, you're talking with anybody per se, what is the expectation, what they want you to do? Understand that. Because sometimes, so there are people, there are different types of people, okay, and you can't do anything about it. So there are people who would directly come to the point and say the expectation up front, and your role would be very easy because you understand what is to be done and you'll deliver that. There are people who will make stories around it, explain you in long sentences and paragraphs, and then tell you, okay, this is what I need. And there are people who really don't know what they expect from you. They're just sharing with you, and you need to figure out, Acha, what I supposed to do. So, not everybody talks very clearly. Agree? Have you come across all these three types of people? Somebody who is very clear and to the point in expectations and saying things. Second one, who will make stories around it and make it very long, and you are on the half of the story, you are just confused, like, what am I supposed to do based on this? And third, people who will never come to the point, will just talk, and you need to figure out what is required. So you will find different types of people. Now the good or bad thing is, you can't really do anything about it. You can't change their communication style. Okay, so ask right questions. When somebody is coming to you, try to listen, try to understand. And to understand, you can always ask questions. So okay, if you're saying this, how can I help you? What I can do for this? What do you expect from me? How can we fix this? Let's say somebody's sharing a problem, somebody's sharing an issue, somebody's sharing a change that they want to inculcate, or somebody's sharing any new idea or methodology, or anything probably. Ask questions, ask as many questions as you can, because that will help the other person come to the point. If somebody is very specific and clear, there's no need. But then somebody who makes long stories and gives you so many examples and takes time to come to the point, then you have to be wisely asking questions, so that you can interpret it very easily and identify what you are supposed to do out of this. Because at the end of the day, you need to deliver the results. See,
Absolutely. And in terms of students, I'm sure students love saying stories. Right. So as teachers, we all face that students come and say the story, the entire problem is we don't figure out where the problem is. Actually, so you're absolutely right. And as educators, we all face this. especially pre-K, they will tell stories which are not even related to what we are talking about here, but those are very critical stories for them. For
So
them,
you need
that
to
story
be
will.
observant. You need to
Yes,
be
yes,
observant, like what they are trying to say, what's their actual pinpoint, what their pain area, what they are expecting from you, and that you need to interpret by asking questions. Listen
correct.
patient. Sometimes it gets tough, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get bored. Okay, bhai, point pe aao. Kya baat karna chahte ho? I also get this goosebumps sometimes. But then we can't really change them. We can't really do anything about it. So listen patiently and try to understand and interpret. Keeping notes is always easy. So, okay, what, when, where, why, and how. The five W and one H. This helps. This strategy helps. So, whenever you are talking to somebody, try to identify answers of this five W one H. You know. So, what happened, when it happened, why it happened, where it happened, and how it happened, or how you can change it. So, yeah. So what, when, where, why, and how? That is question to be asked. So when somebody is talking too long, too brief, when you ask such questions, it becomes easier for you to interpret. Okay. And through that, you would be able to decide what you are supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, you need to find the solution to it. If somebody is coming and telling something to you, you have to respond. And you just don't want to respond for the sake of responding. You have to do something about it. So asking these questions would easen up things. Works? Are you with me? Give me a thumbs up if this sounds good. Second thing, on the listening part, I would also like to say one thing. As I said earlier, sometimes people don't need suggestions. Sometimes they don't need your response. Sometimes they even don't need your help. Sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them. And if you can be that person, they'll love you for that. Like, have you come across any student someday who'll just came and, start sharing something that happened in their home yesterday night? There's no purpose, okay? There's no reason why they are sharing it. They have no idea whether this is required or not. They're so happy and excited. Ma'am, you know what? Yesterday night, my papa told me this. What I'm supposed to do better with this? Now, if I tell that, there is no point, right? So sometimes people don't want you to, give suggestions or feedback or evaluate or analyze or do many things. Yeah, any educators want to share their stories of student stories. Yeah. So many times we get students like that, we get parents like that, we get our co-faculties like that sometimes, who share things and stories where there is no purpose and they just want to listen to you. They just want you to listen to them. Sorry. So lend your ears for a few minutes, without judging, without questioning, without doubting. If you lend your ears this the way you are lending it to me right now, uh, it would be easy. It would be easy for you to get to it. Because once the person, so I say it, vomiting out, once person vomits out everything that is there in their mind, then they are open for your thoughts.
Yes,
That's
Khushbu
the
ma'am, would you like to share something? Khushbu ma'am?
I think she by mistake
Yeah.
unmuted. Yeah. So let people vomit out. Sometimes they're angry, sometimes they're not feeling good, sometimes they're having some negative emotions, and they just want to share with you. And if you can be that, a shoulder where they can rely on, I think they'll love you for it. So it's a long term relationship that you build with your students and your educators, right? So lending your, I know it's difficult. The most difficult thing in the world is to listen. If you ask me to speak, I can speak for hours and hours. But if you ask me to sit and listen to something, it's a task for me. Honestly, it's a task for me. So that's why I'm a speaker today and not an audience. On- Just kidding. But all I'm trying to tell you is it's a task for everyone. You know? We all are educators. We love to talk, we love to interact, we love to speak. And listening is a difficult thing for us. And it's a rare skill as well. But if you have that one thing, I think there's a long way to go for you. Because the one who listens would be able to do the needful. Because the one who listens would be able to understand, right? So, first thing first, be an active listener and listen to understand and not to respond. Okay, I'm having a lot of responses in the YouTube chat section as well. Okay, uh, creating a good rapport with listener. Vishal is saying what, when, where, why, how. Okay, uh, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you guys are responding on YouTube as well. We have got amazing audience, Vrushali. Thank you so much for arranging everything. So first thing, as I think we all are on same page, and that is listen to understand and not to respond. Okay, let's go ahead with the second point. So what's the second point? Let me just share my screen. Okay, so now just look at this. There's a number written there. There's one person who is standing on the right and the other one on the left. Now, if the person standing in the right, for him, this is which number is this for the person standing in right? And he's not wrong. So let's say if one person says that this is 6 and the other person says it is 9, is anybody wrong? Yes, no, maybe you can quickly type and share your thoughts. Hmm? I think we all agree to this. No one is wrong, right? The Gunjan, thank you so much for your reply, Gunjan. So if one person says that this is 9 and the other person says this is 6, nobody's wrong. But what if they start proving their point? What if the person stands in a right, says that no, you are wrong and this is 9 only, and how can you say that this is 6? And the person who is standing in left and says that no, this is 6 only, how can you say that this is 9? This is completely wrong. If they start discussing, arguing to prove their point, would it ever end? And what would be the outcome? Well, there's no reason. There's nothing that they can do about it. Yeah, so no, okay, Abhi says that no one is wrong. They are right as per their understanding. Nobody's wrong, okay? Sampada Naik. Okay, thank you, Sampada. Nobody is wrong. Everyone has got their own perspective. Exactly, Sampada. You are 100%, 100% correct. Sometimes it becomes difficult to understand the other person's viewpoint. See, okay, let me explain this to you in a different manner. How many of you have got siblings? Elder, younger, brother, sister? Hmm? Anybody has got siblings? Raise your hand or. Okay, yeah, I think many of you. I have a younger brother. I'll just share one thing with you. So, he's 2 years younger than me. We have lived together for last 25 years. We have got the similar background, brought up culture, uh, same family, or everything almost similar. I think you and your sibling would have got everything similar, similar opportunities, education, culture, brought up, upbringing, opportunities, everything. Then are you both same? Like you and your younger or elder brother or sister, are you both same? You're living in a same house from last 25 years. You have got the similar culture, brought up, upbringing, environment, everything same. But still, I'm sure you are quite different. And you're different in not just one thing but many ways. So your food preferences are different, your preferences towards colors and garments are different, your travel schedule and your preference to visit places is different. You some Your preference for watching movies and books, reading books, is quite different. So my brother would never read a book, and I love to read books. And every day there is a fight at home what to be cooked in the evening. And there's always an issue going on whether this web series is better than other one. And we never come on same page. Honestly, we never come on same page. And I'm sure the story is same at your home as well. Hmm? That's same for everyone. But then beauty about it, in spite of all these differences, we do not leave them. We live with them. True? We don't go to our brothers or sisters and say, see, I don't agree with your viewpoint, just get lost and just go out of this house. You are not supposed to stay with me in this home ever. Do we do that? Try it once, your parents will throw you out. Right? Because that's a family. In spite of all the differences, we stay together. Now I have very simple thing to say. Even after living together in the same house for 25 years, I can't convince my brother for one single thing. If I say right, he's always say left. Okay? If I say this, he'll always say the other one. Even after being together for 25 years, I have to try to convince him every time for whatever I want to do. Then how can I expect that? And he doesn't agree with me every time, okay? Sometimes I'm not able to convince him also. And he'll stick to his point only. And then it becomes difficult for parents to choose like which side they want to support, you know? So there's a team and steaming up in the family then. Why I'm sharing this? I repeat, in spite of living with each other for 25 years straight, I can't expect my brother to say yes to anything and everything that I say. Then how can I expect it from someone who is just working with me from last few days or years? How can I expect it from someone who's brought up culture, background, thinking, experiences of life are quite different than me? Isn't it too much to expect that they would agree with everything that I say or do? Hmm? We want everybody to say yes to whatever we do or whatever we say. We expect people to agree with us, join us, and we don't like when people differ in opinion. I don't like. It feels bad when someone disagrees. Hmm? But that is bound to happen, and you can't control that because the they have seen the world differently. If I can't convince my brother after 25 years also, I cannot expect it from somebody who is working with me from last few years or few days, or a student who has just joined my class, or a parent who is just connected with me from last few days. Do you agree? So let's not expect everybody to agree with us. It would make your mental state very calm. It's okay if people differ in opinion. It's okay if they don't agree with you. Don't try to prove your point. You can always state, you can always explain, okay? You can always try to suggest, but you can't enforce. You can't, make it compulsion for someone to do it. Because this generation, we are living in 2022, and this is a generation where you can't make things happen by pushing people. It's not possible, you know? It's difficult for people to get things done. If you push them, they'll not do after one extent. So try to understand the other person's viewpoint rather than focusing on your own viewpoint. So whenever you are interacting with people, let's say anybody, your students, their parents, your school administration or any stakeholders or your co-faculties or anybody per se, or this would not only help you in your professional life but also in your personal life, in your families or friends. Try to understand then to be understood. First, try to understand others. Where is this coming from? Why are they saying what they are saying? What has been their experience? Where they are standing? I'm standing on this side and they are standing on that side. Of course, our view to the world would be different. Simple. So try to understand then to be understood. And if you can do that, it would be easier for you to find a common ground and empathize with people. We all know what empathy is, right? Empathy is all about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and trying to understand their viewpoint, their perspective, their thought process, their ideology. Trying to understand what they want to say or what they want to do, right? It's like you are not wrong, even I am not wrong. You are right at your place, I'm right at my place. Let's find a common ground where we both agree and work based on that. Can we do that? Hmm? Let's not prove our points. Let's not prove somebody wrong. Let's try to find that common ground amongst each other so that we both can relate. So there is you, there is me, but I need to find we. I need to find our common ground where we both agree, where we can both correlate, where we can both do things together. Sounds good? I hope this makes sense for you. I really don't want to make this boring session and too much of a preaching thing. So I'm trying to make it more fun and engaging. I hope you're enjoying the session. If you have anything in your mind, feel free to share in the chat box. We have got a one. I think I must appreciate Rambai Yadav, who is joining us here on YouTube, who is responding to, I think, everything that we are sharing. Thank you so much, dear, for joining in. So, yes, try to understand, then to be understood. Try to empathize, try to put yourself into somebody else's shoes. So, that's the second point that I wanted to discuss today. See, speaking, I think we all know how to speak and we are great at it. But if we just change our perspective towards the other person, things would be very easy. So, I'm not here to tell you what to speak and what not to speak, okay? I think you are great at it already. You are educators and you have mastery in speaking because that's your profession and you're great at it already. So I'm not at all a right person to preach you about that. But I'm just here to tell you that if you try to understand the other person, you would be able to do it in a nice manner. So, with this, let's move ahead with the next point, and that is trust. It's very simple and important factor. I think we all know it. See, nobody, you know, works with you until and unless they trust you. Nobody would rely and, nobody would recommend you or refer you, or nobody would share their problems or challenges with you until and unless they trust you. Even nobody will come to you and talk about their life or their experiences until and unless they trust you. Trust is the very common factor. Why some students come to you and share their personal stories? Because they trust you. Very simple. And it's a great thing if you can build that trust with them. Because once they trust you, they will believe on whatever you say. But how do you create that trust factor? What are the elements that creates that trust factor? First, it takes a long duration. Okay, it's not something that you can inject in people. It's not something that happens overnight. Once you start empathizing with people, once you start understanding, once you start putting other person in the first place and then yourself, gradually you would be able to build that trust. And once you have built that trust, it would become very easy for you to communicate. You know, okay, so have you seen any leader in your community, in society in general, or in our country in general, who says something and everybody follows it? Let's say Mahatma Gandhi said that we are going with non-violence. People believed. Hmm? When Mother Teresa said something, we believed. When Nelson Mandela said something, we believed. Right? Even in today's world, like if something comes from our leaders, we believe. When Ratan Tata says something, we believe. Hmm? He has built that trust already over the years, over the period of time. And something that comes from him makes a lot of sense, right? So we need to develop that trust factor. We need to ensure, see, then communication becomes very easy. You're not supposed to do much. When people trust you, things happen this way. But that trust factor is very important. And then you need to maintain that trust also, huh? Because if somebody relies on you, it increases your responsibility. When a student comes to you and shares their personal experiences with you, they're relying on you. And it is increasing your responsibility. And you have to maintain that. Because otherwise, there's no point. So, build trust over a period of time. How can you do that? Starting from first two steps: listen, understand, empathize, and gradually convert it into trust and a long term relationship with your students, parents, stakeholders. Have you ever listened from any of the parents who interact with you say, "Ma'am, we leave it up to you. आपको जो सही लगे वो करो." हम्म? आते हैं ना ऐसे पेरेंट्स हमें बोलते हैं, कि मैम हम आप पे छोड़ दिया, you know it better, right? So जब कोई आके हमें ऐसा बोलता है, when somebody says this to us, then it increases our responsibility. Now parents have trusted us, our students have trusted us, our administration has trusted us, and we need to ensure that we fulfill that trust. Because once the trust is broken, it becomes very, very difficult to rebuild it. And then if you say something, it won't work. People will say, no, it's just a fake or a made up announcement. There's nothing based into it. So you need to ensure that you build trust, and you need to ensure that you maintain that trust as well. So that's the third thing. Let's move ahead with the fourth one. Very easy doable. Ask yourself this question: what can I genuinely appreciate about this person, be it a student, parent, any other stakeholders, anybody? Who doesn't like appreciation? I love appreciation. And I can go ba gaga if you start appreciating me. Everybody likes appreciation. Hello, whom are we talking about? We all love when people appreciate us. But then how often we appreciate others? So we all eat at least 3 times a day. It's food that is required to run our body, right? In the same way, appreciation is a food for mind. Appreciation is a food for mind. And when you appreciate people, you're feeding them with that food. And the good news is, it's free. मुफ्त मुफ्त मुफ्त. इसके कोई चार्जेस नहीं है. Hmm? It's completely free. You can appreciate people just by saying two words, one line. Very good. You have done an amazing job. I really liked it. I really loved it. What a superb work. But your two words makes the other person's day. And the other person would try to do quite more next time and would come up with something beyond your expectation. I still remember, in our school, we used to get star, you know. So when we submit our notebooks and stuff like that, so teacher used to write very good, very very good, and then we used to get stars. So we used to get 3 stars or 5 stars or 10 stars or stuff like that. Okay, I used to always look up to it. So जब भी मैं नोट्स सबमिट करती थी और जैसे भी मुझे वो नोट्स वापस मिलते थे ना, सबसे पहली चीज मैं चेक करती थी, एंड दैट वाज कि मुझे कितने स्टार मिले हैं और मुझे वेरी गुड मिला है कि नहीं. एंड देयर वाज वन फैकल्टी जो कभी भी गुड, वेरी गुड, स्टार ऐसा कुछ नहीं करते थे. किसी के लिए नहीं, मेरे लिए नहीं, किसी के लिए नहीं. और उनके लेक्चर्स में हमें हमेशा, सो see, your writing very good is not a big deal for you, but it's a very big deal for your student. So अब मुझे अभी तक याद है कि वो सर कभी भी गुड, वेरी गुड कुछ नहीं, सिर्फ साइन करते थे, टिक मार्क करते थे, मार्क्स देते थे, खत्म. there is nothing. Simple very good जैसा भी कभी किसी को नहीं देते थे, मुझे नहीं, किसी को भी. And I still remember one day I went to that sir and says, don't you think sometimes you need to say very good to me? And he said, why is it required? I said, sir, it feels good. It makes me happy. If you like my project, you can just say good. I actually went to him and said this. And I don't know what happened to him after that. He started giving stars to everyone. Of course, not just for sake of doing it, but whenever I said, I'm not talking about myself, but then at least if you have a class of 50 students, you should be able to say very good to one person at least, right? Somebody should have done good, but then that person did not have that habit. It was not that he was not doing it by intention. It was not a thought process that the person had. And all the other faculties, many times they used to do it. So whenever we are, and he was a science teacher, so science where you had to do a lot of diagrams and projects and stuff like that. I used to put a lot of efforts in my in the journals that I used to create. और इतने एफर्ट करने के बाद भी एक गुड भी ना मिले, आई यूज टू फील वेरी बैड. सो एक दिन तो मेरा पेशेंस खत्म हो गया. मैंने सर को पर्सनली जाके, आई वाज आई थिंक इन 9th स्टैंडर्ड व्हेन आई सेड दिस, सो आई वेंट टू हिम एंड आई पोलाइटली सेड, सर डोंट यू थिंक दैट यू शुड गिव वेरी गुड टू somebody in the class? I look up to your very good someday. He was a very strict teacher, huh? Getting good from him mattered a lot. But then, to my surprise, in my next project, I got it. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, for a student, appreciation is a big, big, big food for thought, food for mind. It makes their day. When I used to get very good or star in my homework, I would run to my home and I'll come out and मैं अपने बैग में से वो बुक निकाल के सबसे पहले अपने पेरेंट्स को शो करती थी. And I'm sure we all have done. It used to create a lot of excitement. खाना पाना सब साइड में, घर पे जाके भले कितने भी थके हुए हैं, सबसे पहले बुक निकाल के मैं दिखाती थी अपने पेरेंट्स कि देखो आज मुझे स्टार मिला. आई वुड हैव टोल्ड इट टू 5 of my friends that I have got good today. I know it's quite repetitive. for a faculty or a teacher because you come across so many students every day. And sometimes you don't feel like appreciating. But if a person has done a good job, saying a good or very good would not cost you much. Appreciate. That motivates people to do better, to go beyond your expectation, come up with something better next time, work little more harder next time. Hmm? If you don't want to say very, very good, just say good so that they aim for very good the next time, right? Very easy, simple, applicable. Hmm? But try to do that so that, it builds a relationship, it builds a bond, and your good matters. Always remember that your very good matters to a student a lot. And that's not only for students, for your co faculties. If somebody has taken a good initiative, appreciate. If your administration has taken up a good initiative, appreciate. If any parents have done a good job in contributing towards the child's education, appreciate. Appreciate everything and anything that you find suitable. Ha, butter nahi lagana ya. We are not supposed to butterfly unnecessary appreciation would not work. Appreciate when you feel like appreciating. Hmm? But don't be holding back. Don't hesitate. Okay, if you like the trainer and you like the session, appreciate. Thank you so much, Vrishali, for saying this. But then, honestly, appreciation helps everyone. So try to share those words, magical words of appreciation to everyone. Okay, so we have Anwar Khan who says that it works effectively at PDMS. Great, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, appreciating both the parents and kids. Yes, that's important. So many times, you'll come up with parents also who are actually genuinely interested in students' growth, education. They're sparing their time, they're putting efforts, managing their work schedule. And sometimes some parents would not be able to manage it up to the mark, but they're trying whatever they can. Appreciate. So I still remember, you know, there's one anecdote which was shared by Indra Nooyi. Indra Nooyi, if you know, she was CEO of PepsiCo for almost 8, 9 years, I guess, and she has transformed PepsiCo from its scratch, and she has made it a company what it is today. So Indra Nooyi is Indian, living in USA, and she managed. I heard one of her YouTube video and a talk, and where she said that. She's a CEO of a company. She has quite a lot of responsibilities at work. But then she has a kid and they need to go to school. She need to manage their education as well. And a lot of other responsibilities at home. So like when you are a homemaker, you have a 24/7 job of managing your family, your household, and your kids. When you are a working woman or working parent, not only women, working parent, male or female, you have your household plus your work plus your kids. And when you are CEO of a company, that triples up your work. Now, she said that in her kids' school, they started a tradition: Wednesday morning coffee with teachers. And all parents were supposed to attend it every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. And she said that I was shocked. I start my work morning 8 a.m. 9 a.m. coffee with teacher as a parent was impossible for me. So I would attend some coffees and I would miss some coffees. And I used to feel really bad about it. That's not me, that's Indra Nooyi speaking. I'm just sharing it here with you. So these are the words of Indra Nooyi. She said, my kid always expected me to be there on Wednesday morning for my teacher's coffee day. But then sometimes I could not join because I had some commitments, XYZ things. And my kid would come home and say, uh, her parents were there, and their parents were there, and this kid's parents were there. And Mama, you were not there. And I would die out of guilt that I could not do it for my kid. Hmm? But then how to do? Because I'm a CEO of PepsiCo. I have meetings every morning. I can't manage to attend every Wednesday 9 a.m. and I can't change the norms at the school as well. So she said what she did. Every Wednesday morning, she'll try if she can join. But if she was not able to join, she'll call the school and ask how many parents did not attend the Wednesday morning coffee. And she'll take the list of parents who did not attend Wednesday morning coffee. And when her kid used to come home that day and say, Mama, this person was there, उनके parents आए थे, इनके parents आए थे और आप नहीं आए थे, Indra Nooyi would reply, see, this many parents did not come up. I am not the only bad mother. This is what she says. See, we need to understand we are living in a culture, we are living in a life, we are living in a society where everybody has got a lot of commitments. Sometimes, in spite of wanting, parents fail short on doing few things for their kids. The intention is not bad. It's not that they are not concerned about their kids. It's not that they don't want to give time. But they need to run the show, they need to run the family, they need to run their household and job, and there are a lot of other things. And they might fall short on few things. And in such instances, your little appreciation to them about what they are doing would help them do better. So rather than complaining that you're not able to do this, yeah, blah, 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 I think no parent would ever want to compromise with their kids' education. Agree? No parent would want to compromise with their kids' education. But they might not be able to do everything. But if they are able to do 5 out of 10, it's still okay. 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, it's okay. Don't expect perfection and appreciate for whatever they are able to do. That will motivate them to do better. That's what I feel. And you can watch that video of Indra Nooyi where she shares this incident. And she honestly says that, sometimes as a parent, you will die out of guilt because you're not able to do everything for your kid. But that's not practically possible. You have other commitments. So sometimes, in spite of wanting to do, parents will not be able to do few things for their kids. There are financial issues, there are issues with time and availability, there are issues with other commitments, there are issues with work, there are issues with family and household. You never know what somebody is going through in their life. So,
I think Gunjan wanted to share some story. Gunjan, would you like to share something?
Yeah, since we are into, sharing stories of appreciation and just a small anecdote, from it's a real thing. So, I was working for Shoppers Stop some 20 years back. I'm talking
okay.
about 2000s. So, you remember, like in your class, you have a star of a day. So, we would
Hmm.
have a star of the month. So, there was this gift wrapper who used to beautifully, wrap gifts.
Hmm.
So I just featured him in the in the story and gave him the start of the month and all that. Got for as usual I forgot about it. Now 20 years ahead, we make again a WhatsApp group. Suddenly this social media came and we all came together. Ex chocolate eyes, and he remembers me. Ki, ma'am, I remember you appreciated me just a small, and I completely don't remember this person. But such small gestures
Yeah.
can make such a big difference, and And he's done very well in his life for now, But yeah, this is how, a small appreciation can affect a person.
True, true. It's a food for the mind, heart, soul. You're exactly correct on the point. I really appreciate your participation, Gunjan. So one small word or one small appreciation can change life of somebody. So, and beauty about it, as I said, it's free. So appreciate as much as you can. Appreciate people around you, in your work, in your home, in your surroundings. Appreciate everybody when you genuinely find it suitable. So the focus over here is genuinely, because otherwise, see, if fake, there's a fake appreciation, people will get to know. जैसे हमें कोई बटर लगा रहा है, कोई हमें फेक में अप्रिशिएट कर रहा है, ऐसे जस्ट बोलने के लिए बोल रहा है, तो हमें भी पता चल जाता है ना. We easily get to identify कि हाँ यार ये तो बस ठीक है ऐसे कहने के लिए है. And we don't appreciate such things, right? So appreciation has to be very genuine. It should come from within. But at least, okay, set a goal. I need to appreciate at least one person during one day. Appreciate one person during one day, wherever, whenever, for whatever matter. That doesn't matter. For one person a day. And once you start doing it, no, you might need to put an effort for first 15 days. But then it would become a habit. It would become a habit and it would come naturally to you. And then it becomes a habit. And you do not need to put any effort for appreciating people. आप naturally वो बन जाओगे जहां पे आपको कुछ अच्छा लगा, आप सीधा सीधा आपके मुंह से निकलेगा, अरे वाह ये तो बहुत अच्छी चीज है. This is really good. I really liked it. I really appreciate. You know, make it a habit gradually that you appreciate people and things around you. So with this, let's move ahead with the next point. I can't insist more on this. Energy or the vibes passes on. Let me share something. So if I come to this session and I say, hello everyone, I am Nancy and today I'm here for this session. It's 1.5 hour and we will be together. I am going to share 8 tips on communication, and I hope you enjoy this. What would happen if I talk like that?
I think we all would run away. I wouldn't, of course, but yeah, others would definitely run away.
So if I talk this way, nobody would like it. Right? We will all sleep. We will all sleep. True. Log out. Nobody likes a person who talks dull, effortless, or, you know, is not enthusiastic about something. And see, there are two ways. So I can talk like that also. Like, hello everyone, how are you all? And I can talk like, hello everyone, how are you all? I'm super happy and excited to be here today. Words are same. Okay? The way I'm saying it is different. So if you are excited about something, it would come on your face, in your words, in your tone, in your voice, in your facial expression, in your body language, in everything that you do. And if you're not happy about something, it will also come out. Have you ever watched any reality show, talk show, or any singers performing live or any dancers performing live? I think we all have watched so many award functions and stuff like that, right? So when they sing or when they dance or when they perform, audience is doing this and that, and they're dancing and jumping and making noise and shouting out loud, singing with them. That happens naturally. And probably if we have been the audience, we also do the same, right? But that doesn't happen when Manharu Das sings ghazals. Hmm? When Manharu Das sings ghazals, he's like, everybody's so peaceful, calm, just sitting, listening, enjoying the music. That's also fine. But then imagine Shreya Ghosal singing that way. Or imagine if Sunidhi Chauhan sings that way, or Arijit Singh. If you have watched any live show, reality show, or any concert of any singer or dancer, so I attended one of the concert of Sunidhi Chauhan. uh, don't worry, I didn't buy the passes, I got it free. So I attended, I got the passes, and me and one of my roommate, we went there and we sat, and we were all set to enjoy the show. It was 3 hours, non-stop performance. And that girl, my goodness, she was singing, dancing, jumping here and there, going to the crowd and talking and whatnot. She changed almost 3 outfits within 3 hours, and she sang not I don't know how many songs, like with couple of fillers from the support singers, but main she was performing Wool and Soul. Now you don't expect a singer to dance. She can just stand and sing, right? There's no requirement for her to jump here and there and dance, but she was doing all that, and the result, audience was jumping, dancing, singing with her, cheering out loud, making noise. As a communicator, your energy transfers to the other person. You are the one who creates the mood. If people are not enjoying, if people are not having a great time, it's not their fault. I think I, as a speaker, has to put a little more effort to make it happen. So it's my responsibility to ensure that I bring that right energy to the room. If I sound dull and low, then it won't work. So very simple thing, get excited for what you're supposed to do. You have a job in hand. I think you must be getting some background noise. There are kids playing. I hope that is not disturbing much. I'm trying to close the window so to not
No,
to
no,
have.
it's okay. We realized that, but it's okay. It's not that bad.
So I live in the first floor and there's a playground there and can't stop them. You can't stop these kids anyway for anything these days. Okay, so I tried closing the window. Probably the background noise would have been a little lesser now. So all I'm trying to tell you is, so honestly, today I have fever 102 from last 2 days. I'm on medication and on complete rest. But I didn't want to cancel this session. And you would have not have got to know this by this time until unless I come and tell you this. There are bad days. There are days where you don't feel good, when you're not healthy enough, when you're not happy about something, when there are problems in family, there are problems in social things. There are things that happen. We are humans, right? So we might not be at our best state of mind always. And that's okay. We are not machines. Even machines break down. Then we are humans, right? So it's okay if you're not in a best state of mind and there's something wrong, that's fine. But then, when you enter the room, you have to learn to put everything aside. Honestly, I am just on liquids from last 2 days. And only fruits and liquids, that's what I've taken. And I had to convince my husband, see, I can't cancel this. I have to conduct this session. He has already shouted on me about this because from last 2 days, I have not done anything. I've not eaten much. And of course, there are genuine concerns for it. But then there's something called commitment. You know, And we have already postponed this session once, and then coming back to you and say, we are again postponing would not look good, honestly. So I thought, okay, let me gather some energy and get into this. And I am trying my best to deliver this session today. All I am trying to tell you is not all days are good, not all days are happening, not always you will feel happy and excited about something. But once you enter the room, you have to get into that zone where you put everything aside. So now my husband is wondering, how did I get such energy right now to talk when I've hardly talked to anybody within last 2 days? And I have no answer to it. And now I can't even tell him that I'm not feeling good because he has seen me conducting this session today. So all I'm trying to tell you is we have larger responsibility as an educator, and we need to fulfill that no matter what happens in our life. So there's a bad day, there's a problem at work, or there's an issue in a family, you have to learn to put it aside and get into that excitement zone and do what you're required to do for few hours, and then do rest of the things otherwise. Make sense? It's difficult, but it can be learned through practice, and I think somehow some of you would have already mastered it. So very simple, your energy transfers in the entire room, be it virtual room or physical room. Ensure that you create that vibe for your participants to make to make them excited about it. Tip number 6, innovate. Innovation is a key to everything. If you're trying to do something, try to do it in a different manner. If you're trying to implement something, try to innovate the way you work. Try to innovate the way you share things. Try to innovate in any and every manner possible, because that way you would be able to bring the change. So I remember one of my science teacher. So he was a science teacher, and science has lot of technical things. But rather than coming up with the main theorem or whatever, sorry, not theorem, but whatever main part of the study, he would start with something different, an example, a story, an incident, or probably something that you would never expect. And then that person would connect that story or example or incident with the actual science method or things that he wants to teach us. As a result, we were not supposed to remember the science uh, formulas or systems or the things. We would remember those stories. And through that, we would remember that particular point. And we used to look forward for his class, because every time he will begin with something new. Innovation is a constant process, and we all can do it. We do not need extraordinary skills for that. If you just give it a thought, hmm, if you just give it a thought, how can I do this differently? What are the ways I can say it differently? What are the ways I can implement this differently? I think you will come up with 10 more ways to do it. You're smart enough, you have knowledge, you have experience, and you would be able to come up with something new anytime for anything that you want. It's just that you need to put an effort for the same. That's it. You need to think about it. That's it. So try to innovate the ways you teach, the ways you communicate, the ways you share your thoughts, the ways you present something in front of people. Do it differently than your routine things. And then you'll see how people get involved and how do you grab attention of them. So, innovation is a constant process, and we need to ensure that we apply the same. Next thing, storytelling. This is one of my favorites. If you want to say something, say it in a form of a story. As simple as that. And kids love stories. And beauty is there are n number of stories readily available for you, starting from Panchtantra stories to motivational stories to moral stories to fictional, non fictional, science stories, theorems, real life experiences, uh, or real incidences that have happened in society, in the country, in the nation altogether, current affairs related stories, anything that you find suitable. If you want somebody to understand something, tell it in a form of a story. Make a story out of it, and they will understand, relate, and remember. If you make it, if you want people to remember it for a lifetime, make a beautiful story out of what you want to say, and they'll never forget. Hmm? Your stories do not need to be extraordinary. Very simple, very simple, very basic. But say a story and then explain your point. Whenever you're talking to somebody, use stories, flood it up with stories so that people can relate. I think within last few hours that I have talked about, it's 1 hour and 15 minutes by now, and I have said so many stories to you. When you story tell, first you engage people. Second, you bring something new to the table, which is unheard of. So they'll be interested. Third, you make things very easy for them to understand, and it improves memorization. People are able to remember it easily. So if you want to say something, say it in a form of a story. Try to make a story out of it and then share so that people can relate. Yes, Khushbu says. Sure. Thank you, Khushbu. We have, okay. YouTube, we have 9 people watching us right now, getting a couple of responses. Try to share more thoughts in a chat section, would surely try to consider it. And last but not the least, tip number 8, keep learning. See, it's a plant that nurtures and grows over the period of time. So you are in a role where you are nurturing others as well, right? For that, you first need to nurture yourself. Teachers are the ones who have left schools, but then they've never left it. They have educators first need to educate themselves. And I think you believe into this, and that's why you are here. Otherwise, nobody has a time to spend 1.5 hours on such a wonderful evening. So, what do you need to grow a plant? You need seeds, you need fertilizer, you need sunlight, you need water, you need proper care and concern, and lot of other things, right? In the same manner, if you want to grow as a communicator, as a teacher, as an educator, you also need to keep learning, innovating, and doing things that might help you grow. Because if you grow, you'll help others grow. If my paradigm stops here, if my thinking stops here, if I am not able to go beyond this, I can never take my students to the next level. If my vision is limited, I can never take my students to the next level. If my thought process is bound by certain beliefs, I cannot take my students or my participants beyond that. So, to help them grow, to help them uplift themselves, I first need to break all the boundaries for myself and be ready to learn something new. And you can find these learnings in your day to day life from your other educators or co workers, from your team of a school or college, from your students as well. You know, the beauty about this profession, I have learned a lot through my participants, and I'm sure you would have. काफी बार वो छोटे छोटे बच्चे हमें बहुत सिखा जाते हैं. वो ज्यादा बोलते नहीं है, कुछ ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन नहीं करते, पर उनसे भी हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं. They are smarter. This generation is smarter, brighter, and more active than us. And if we start learning from them, if we start observing and learning from them, there's a way to go. So keep learning from them as well so that you can give it back to them. Do not bound yourself by any boundaries or limitations or thought processes or belief systems, because that will stop your growth. And if you stop growing, your students cannot grow further. So you need to ensure that you are surrounding yourself with people who help you learn something new. You who like platforms like Orange Slates, where they organize so many workshops and seminars for teachers. Why they are doing that? Because they believe that if we empower education and educators, if we empower educators, we can empower the next generation. You're building the nation, you're building the youth of tomorrow, you're building the next generation, right? So there is a way through which you need to build yourself as well. And nobody is perfect, even not me. I have a scope of improvement, likewise you or somebody else. Identify your areas of improvement. What are the things that you can do better? What are the things that you need to learn? And try to do that in whatever manner you can. Improvise upon yourself so that you can improvise upon your students. So, with this, I would just quickly restate what I have said within last 1.5 hours. And yeah, very important. Take the first step. You know, so many times we expect them to come to us. So many times we expect people to approach us. So many times we expect people to, come to us and share things. But not everybody is that open. If you take a first step, you would be able to make difference. So don't be hesitant. If you find something, if you think about something, go ahead and share, ask. Take the first step and move ahead with it.
I think Sangeeta ma'am wants to share something.
Yes,
Sangeeta ma'am,
Sangeeta.
you have raised your hand. Sangeeta ma'am,
Mm,
if you're speaking, you're on mute.
I've asked her to unmute herself.
Yeah, she can.
Okay, probably that was by mistake.
Okay.
कोई बात नहीं. And if you are able to apply all those things, rather than pushing people, you will be able to pull them. So let's do one thing. So Vrushali,
Yep.
we want you to do something, okay?
Yep, sure.
We want you to wake up tomorrow morning 6 a.m. and run 5 kilometers.
Run 5 kilometers.
Yeah. Of course, you don't like it. You won't do it. Would you want to do it?
Maybe not 5 kilometers. Maybe I can start with 1 kilometer.
No. We want you to run 5 kilometers tomorrow morning. Not much interested, right?
No.
Okay. Now we all want Vrushali to run 5 kilometers tomorrow morning 6 a.m. Now there are two ways to deal with it. First, Vrushali, you have to wake up tomorrow 6 a.m. and run 5 kilometers and report to me. Otherwise, you're sued.
Okay. Oh God.
This is one way of doing it. And if I do that, would you like it, Vrushali?
No, I will definitely not like it.
You'll defend.
I'll try to reason out of it. Yes.
You'll defend. You'll find excuses. You'll find ways to escape from it. You'll try to prove that this is wrong. This is not required. You'll
मेरे पे
try all
अत्याचार
the
हो
ways.
रहा है ये.
You'll try to do everything to not to do it because you don't want to do it.
Yes.
But let's say if I tell you, Vrushali. So, hi, Vrushali. I want you to inculcate habit of waking up every morning and running for few kilometers to improve your health. Start with one, two, three, four, but I want you to make it 5 kilometers someday. And if you do it, you would be able to see change in your lifestyle, in your physique, in your mood of the day. And the moment you hit 5 kilometers, let me know. I'll be happy to give you a treat. Would you like to
Mm.
give it a try then?
Yeah, because this is very this is positive and it just sounds real and concern. It's a real concern that you show towards me, my health.
Hmm. So rather than pushing people, let's try to pull them. Simple as that. I can see by force, by order, I can get things done. Probably I'm like Rushali is nowhere to listen to me that way. But let's say if I'm a higher authority and I'm saying something to Rushali and she has no choice but to do it, she would still do it somehow, but would not like it, would not appreciate it, would not enjoy it, right? But then if I convince her that Rushali, this is not for me, this is for you, your health, and I want you to start with 1 kilometer and make it five someday.
Right.
And if I convince her, she'll happily wake up and try doing it.
At least initiate, at least
At
try
least,
for it for sure. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So don't expect people to follow your orders. Don't order. Convince them for what you want them to do, and they'll be with you. Don't push or force. Attract. Give them a reason to do it. Convince them to do it, and they'll do it happily. At least they'll attempt. I think we have got so many messages in the chat box. Very useful for us this session. I love to join her. Great session. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was a good session. Thank you so much, everybody. So, in all, I have talked about many things. If to summarize, we have talked first about listen patiently, empathize with people, build trust, appreciate as much as you can. Excitement is important. You bring the energy in the room. Keep innovating. Storytelling is required into all the ways and forms. Try to include, flood it up with stories in your sessions or your lectures. And last, keep learning. And more than that, don't push somebody to do something. Pull them, and they'll do it happily for you. So, with this, I think I'm done. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. It's 6:33. I am 3 minutes late, but I tried
And I'll
covering
take
up.
2 more minutes while I'm speaking, but yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
But it was pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks to Orange Slates for having me here.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It was simple. See, I always say that things are simple. We need to implement. We need to start implementing. We need to start acting on it, right? So yes, thank you so much for all the appreciation. Thank you so much. It's just a simple request. We have this WhatsApp group and Nancy is also there. What I would request you is, small change in the behavior that we are planning, right? We start appreciating, we initiate something. Any story that you would like to share about what change happened in your behavior, maybe a small change. Observe yourself and please share it in the WhatsApp group. We love to hear it. So Nancy ma'am will also feel that, it's a sense of appreciation that when you talk something, somebody listens to you and implements in life, right? It's the best appreciation any teacher can get, right? What do you say, Nancy?
Yeah, of course. I also love appreciation and would never mind it. So keep sharing your thoughts. At the same time, try to make best out of this platform. I think
Yeah.
Orange Slates come up with such webinars very often. and they're there for you. So try to
Yeah, so
utilize
this
them.
was like the first session on communication. Of course, we'll get into more nitty-gritty. So if at all you're looking at anything specific, like communication with students, communication with parents, communication with stakeholders, anything that is specifically required by you, you can post it in the chat or you can WhatsApp me personally. We'll bring those sessions for you. I'm sharing the feedback form here. I'll be sharing the feedback form in the group as well. So don't worry if you're not able to open from here. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for people who have joined us on YouTube. Thank you so much for replying there as well. And yeah, please share the kinds of topics that you're looking for, and we'll definitely host those sessions for you and empower. Let's empower all of us and change the way our classroom looks and our teaching learning process takes place. We have interesting sessions coming up. I'll be sharing my session. Sorry, I'll be sharing my screen. Where is it? Okay. We have, you can go to the site orangeslates.com. You can go to courses and you can check the self-paced courses that we have here. We have some really interesting self-paced courses that you can do at your own time when you get. And these are all very application. The new one that we have launched is how to use Microsoft Word to create worksheets, create tables. We have for inclusive classrooms, we have special education, experiential learning, and so on. And you'll also get to know about our live programs that we have scheduled. So we have something coming up on 28th of July. I'm going to take a session on how to create effective presentations using Google Slides. So many more sessions are coming up. So I'm sure you are excited about it. We are excited about it to see you there for the session. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much once again. And please take care of your health. And we really appreciate you joining us. You were not
Vishali
well,
ma'am,
still you took that energy.
I would like to add on. Thank
Yes,
you,
Maheshwari ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you. I'm very poor at appreciating. Now I make it a point that I appreciate every day at least one person,
You
and
can
that
start today.
begins with Nancy, ma'am. Excellent session, ma'am. Really, it was an
Thank you.
excellent. In spite of your health, you have taken time, and then the commitment that you have already committed to the session, and you'd like to keep up. Yes, we need to be
Thank
committed
you.
and appreciate. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
That's a great start, Maheshwari ma'am. That's a great start. You were very open about what you feel. So thank you so much for sharing. And please continue to appreciate people and, of course, keep learning, keep upskilling yourself. Thank you so much. Yes, Nancy, you want to share?
Yeah, so thanks, Rushali, for having me here. Thanks to Orange Slates for organizing such sessions. I have thoroughly enjoyed the time that I've spent with you guys and looking forward to have many more sessions with you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great evening. Happy learning. Bye bye.
Bye bye.